Okay, I just want to make a quick video and explain why I've decided, or why I decided to make this my personal protest here on Instagram, on Facebook, with this screen, with this camera, with these speakers, with this microphone. Um, we we live in a time now where there is an extreme populist movement, and that means that popularity is the perceived order of importance to do with how society functions. Now, this isn't new. This has existed for a long time. Politicians, kings, governments, business people, all these things have always used that to rise up. Populist, but we say what you want to hear, you cheer, we get to the top, and then we are the populist thing. We make a decision and we get there and we throw our weight around. Now, the strange thing that's happening now is because we all have one of these things in our pocket, we've all seen the rise of the populist influencer model of people that are now everywhere. And they're just using the same tricks that other people have been using. It's just more distributed now. There's more people doing it. And so the power has gone down. You don't get as much power. You still get some nice power, but they're still using the same tricks. They're telling you what you want to hear. They're not being controversial. They won't risk anything or say anything that might upset people, because that isn't what you do when you're trying to be popular. Popular, not right. Popular. Popularity is not a reflection on your moral standing in society, your intelligence, anything. It's just how good at getting people to like you are. And you don't get people to like you by saying things that aren't nice, or that are a bit mean, or that are a bit, scary or worrying. It's like, don't kill my vibes, man. Do you know what I mean? That kind of thing. So the reason I chose to address this group wasn't because I hand selected you out and, thought, this group's aligned with me. I can forge this group and have them follow me and go along and all this stuff. That's not what I did. The reason I chose this group is because it was there. It was right there. It's a random selection of people I've met, just random collection of people really that I'm on trend closer with than people that aren't on there. That's all it really is. We haven't lived for very long in this world where this stuff exists, and I looked and I went, hey, there's a group. That's funny, isn't it? There's a group I can easily address. Let's see how we go. And what I have found out has just reinforced my knowledge that this populist modelling is just everywhere. It's just completely rife. It's the order of the world now. Now, I'm not trying to change that in any way. I don't for 1 second think I have the ability to change that. But I do maybe have the ability to shed some light on it, bring some attention to it. And that's what I've been trying to do. We cannot progress in a society if we only cherry pick things that feel nice and feel good. We only criticize things that are bad and we push up things that are good. That's not how the world works. Some things are very bad for some people and they're good for other people. This isn't this. If you look at politics, like the tumultuous nature of that, and kingdoms and all these things, and civilization in general, that is the pattern of a populist movements. And they are actually, believe it or not, they're an artificial entity that only exists after certain technological advances gave us the ability to have a surplus of food. As soon as we had that, that's where this class of people and power started happening. Before that, there wasn't that. It couldn't exist. We had small groups of like 150 people, 200 people, whatever it was. Those groups were our immediate groups. And if you take 10% of that population, that's 10 people. You listen to 10 people if there's only 100 of you. Because 10 people fucking making a big fuss is a lot. Even one person, it's like you deal with that one person. And that one person might be the only person that has that special ability or whatever it is, or that intrinsic nature to have picked up on the problem. So you listen to it. But as that group gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and the people up the top get more and more and more and more, like, their power gets more and more dispersed throughout people, then that one person becomes less and less and less. Those 10 people become less and less and less and less and less until they're nothing. Until, we're in the situation now where we have thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people objecting these mandates and objecting and saying, hey, there's something wrong with this thing that's going on. And rather, my personal stance on this, rather than going and finding a bunch of people that agree with me, I addressed an immediate group that I had in front of me. And what I found is that, one, people on my side are terrified to say anything. Because that group is so big and it's so like, it will just crush people in order to keep going. You get that group small enough, if I get you all sitting in a room, you'd see the actual distribution of it. But when you're looking at this huge group and it's just, they're just this little minority making a lot of noise. All those things are used against you on a daily basis because they know that's how it works. I've been studying this stuff since I was a kid, and very intensely over the last 5 years. I've always had an interest in marketing and human nature and these things. It's just something I'm obsessed with. I don't know why, I just am. And they know what they're doing. It's not even like, it's like literally, it's not like they're doing it by accident. Intentionally. They know how to control the mob. How to shape you, how to make you disregard your moral compass, all those things, in order to get them where they want you. And what I'm saying is, this experiment that I've conducted here, where I'm addressing my this small group, there's 307 people, whatever it is, has been so eye-opening, and I've learned so much from it that, like, I honestly think if, there's 10 books worth of information just within this example. Because our natural state of organisation as people is as a group of, say, 150 people. So I urge you, try it for yourself. Grab a group of 150 people and find out where it is. Don't look at, instead of what this mass thing's telling you, that I'm this lunatic, fringe extremist, see it as that, hey, this is this person I know, and they seem to be really passionate about this thing that they're saying, to the point where they've, by a factor of 100, put out this original, passionate content in lots of different ways for an extended period of time, trying to address that maybe there's a perceptual problem in our society that's not being seen, or that's, I'm not just doing this for the sake of it. And that used to count. And in person, it counts a lot more. In person, if I was sitting here talking to you and you were in front of me and there was a crowd of you, you'd see it. You can see the passion. You can see that this is concern. You can see that this isn't the ramblings of a lunatic. But for some reason, within this screen, or within the context of this narrative that we're all in, you are removing your basic human, like, what's the word? Human senses that can pick up and order, like what people's incentives and things like that are, and as a group, like, dynamically move throughout society, which is what we've been doing for millions of years, and it's all rejected. It's thrown into this simple, they're anti-vaxxers, or they're vaccinated, or they're fucking crazy hippies, or they're just fucking anti-anarchists, or they're bad and we're good, basically. But it's nothing works like that. It never has. If basically anyone in my situation, the reason, and this is like, one, most of them are being terribly silent right now because they're scared. So that's just one thing. You just need to trust me on that. There's a whole bunch of people that are just being very quiet because it's not in their nature to do this. It is in their nature to not want the vaccine, but it's not in their nature to go openly against a huge mob of people. That's a very few people have that. I just have happened to always been like that. So I'm, holding the torch for a huge bunch of people that are just being completely quiet on this. So it's very easy to just attack me. You're angry, or you're grumpy, or you're very extreme. Ugh, I don't like you. There's a reason for that. That's my role within this society. My born right as a member of this society to protect the people that are coming to me that are scared of the rest of it. And I will stand there and do that until I'm killed. I'm not sitting here benefiting in any way but bar like my freedom's back. I'm not sitting here getting sponsored by a pharmaceutical company or looking for re-election. I have nothing to win in this. In fact, I've lost a lot to do this. If this doesn't change and doesn't turn out, my entire reputation in this society is gone down the drain. So what I'm saying is, because what I keep hearing is trust the science, trust the science. This is science. This is science. Science is a very broad word. It's a tool that's used. There are all different sciences. Immunology, is that how you say it? I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. Or whatever, is one tiny little bit of a tiny little bit of a tiny little bit of a tiny little bit. You can't make the entire world's decisions based on something like that. That is the epitome of unscientific. One of the major things you will do in a scientific experiment is try and cut down on variables. You can't extract these variables from this experiment at all. They can't be extracted. This is a dynamic, moving, shifting thing. Like, think of when you look at a bunch of fish in the ocean or a bunch of birds in the sky and how they move. Like this huge big unit. That's what we are. That's what we are, existing within a bigger version of that, existing within a bigger version of that, existing within a bigger version of that. We're not this simple little thing that you can chop up and shine a light on one little bit and plug this bit to this bit and this bit to this bit. That is not how we work. That is not science. That is psychopathy. That is complete the realm of just egotistical psychopaths if you think you can do that. And the thing is, we're getting to a point where for years, we've been told, oh, the natural people of this land, let's pay homage to the natural people of this land, the traditional owners, whether it's in America or here or anywhere that this has happened, because this has continuously happened for 10,000 years. But what's happening is, now this society is getting so sick, so controlling and so self-assured of its domination of this earth, that there's a bunch of people, not traditional owners or traditional people or traditional cultures, just people maintaining that part of themselves that still holds that, dropping out the bottom of this civilization and getting thrown to the side as the bulldozer plows on. Now, what I'm saying is, there's enough of us now. It's like, what are you going to do? You can't ignore this. You set the paradigm. You set this situation where we're supposed to give, respect to these people and all these things. What happens if people within the society are expressing these same views that are intrinsic to that way of life? Where do we go? You can't just play the same game again because you set the thing up. It can, this can work, but there's going to be a lot of blood on your hands. All of your hands, if you continue down this route. We live within your society now. We're not, you're not going to a new land and conquering it, under whatever false flag or God or reason you have for doing that. You're ploughing people that were already in your society back under. So how do you do that without getting blood on your hands? Look down on your hands. You're not very far away. You'll hear influencers and all these people talk about, it's fucking Ban Australia Day, or, the Cologne, whatever this stuff is, and you're doing it again to the same thing. It's the exact same thing. Your fucking idea is better than ours, and it's more powerful, and it's got reason behind it, and all those things. It's the same mechanism, and you're ploughing people back under it. But these people you grew up with, they were sitting in the classroom with you, or sitting in the office with you, or playing in your sport team with you. It's not as easy. They're the same colour as you. They're the same, they look the same, they talk the same, everything. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm addressing you on this, to show you that. You think of an anti-vaxxer, I don't know what image that conjures in your mind, or an unvaccinated person. I don't know what type of image that conjures in your mind. But this is the image here. If I was sitting across from you, this wouldn't be the reaction I'm giving. This is me talking to myself. I have to draw with what it is. I'm not going to sit there and yell at you. I would sit there and talk to you. If you want to come up against what I'm trying to stand up for, then come up against it in the same way. What is this? 19 minutes and 40 seconds. Make a 20-minute video, passionately explaining to me why you think I should go and get a vaccine that I don't want to have. Why you think that me being not allowed in anywhere or to do any of the things that I love doing or anything like that is justified under these conditions. Do it. There isn't any. I haven't seen almost one thing anywhere near the level of passion, perseverance, courage, any of those things that I've seen from people trying to oppose this bullshit, for people trying to support it. The only people I see trying to support it are standing in front of flags, spurting some shit about something that they don't even know about. These politicians don't know shit about fucking science. The people that they're trusting maybe do. Maybe they have interest. I don't know. Dig into it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether your reasoning, I need to get something because of science. I don't care about that. I have my own version of science. Science isn't a one answer. It's a tool. I use science to give you reasons to why I don't want to get it. It works that way. It works both ways. I'll use science to show you how segregating people from a society is incredibly damaging. I'll use science to show you that the natural state of humanity and the order that it's naturally goes to is meant to be small pockets of people that can maybe push influence up to a select few that can make big decisions, but it's not meant to work the other way. When it works the other way, that's tyranny. And they use these mass manipulation techniques, which are just perfected now. They're down to such, they can literally just, boom, they can steer you anywhere you want. And they can steer the crowd anywhere it wants, except against this. And this is what I haven't seen. I'm addressing you because I know you. Anyone out there that's on the same side of me, I know it's fucking terrifying. Stop sharing memes. It's all been important. Don't stop protesting, but just bring the protest right to them, right to their face. Show them the face of it. Show them the passion that you have regarding this. Anyone on the fence, you don't need to be on the fence. That's an illusion. That's what fear of the mob gives you. You're either on the fence trying to protect your self-interest, which is selfish, or you're on the fence because you're scared. The self-interest thing is going to be more enhanced as we go on, and the fear is going to be more if we keep going on. There needs to be courage of people standing to one person in a group of 100 can be extremely powerful. Because that within those 100 people, they know that it takes a lot of courage, a lot of whatever to stand up to 100 people, 300 people, especially if you know it's a controversial subject, especially if you know you haven't got a big wall of people behind you. It's a terrifying thing, and so it's listened to. We have human instincts to listen to that. How this person's fucking standing up in front of this. That's the thing. They wouldn't do that if it wasn't important to them. So I urge you, get up and do it. Not to the big crowd. We don't need a bunch of dictators or fucking people yelling on soapboxes. Just talk to your immediate family, your immediate friends. Explain to them the situation you're in. One of them at a time. Turn them around. One of them at a time. Make them aware of these ways that they are susceptible to this mass manipulation. And then we don't end up with a big chaotic war or a big chaotic turnaround of thing or a big chaotic divide in society. We end up with a slow crawling thing that by the time it gets up to government, they're just like, whoa, shit, we made a mistake. Boom, and then we turn it around. And then maybe we use that same mechanism. This same thing that is in front of us right now. This isn't... I'm not using this for the normal thing of popularity. validation, whatever it is. I'm using it because, believe it or not, this thing right here can change the entire world. And it doesn't change the world by me going and taking my shirt off or fucking, do you know what I mean? Like showing bundles of cash and sitting on a swimming pool next to a bunch of chicks in bikinis. It doesn't do that. It does it by me addressing my direct group in a way that's really accessible, that hasn't existed before in history, passionately putting my thing forward, and they go, yeah, you seem pretty passionate about that. Maybe we'll do that. And then that goes up to another level. And then, of course, there will be people of influence within our society. But maybe they'll be the same. They'll be like, hey, I don't just need to be a yes man and say whatever is going to make the crowd happy. Because in the long run, that makes us worse. Maybe I can stand and say, this is how I feel about this. This is wrong. I know it's going to piss 20% of you off, 30% of you off, but I don't care because it's here. It sits in my heart and this is where I want to go. And then there will be opposite sides. It will snake and go backwards and forwards. But there's dynamic stability within that. That no one, if anyone's only operating in this small thing, I'm only directly trying to influence this small group of people. I can only, if I was a complete lunatic, that's only 300 people. It's just not going to go forth and make too much chaos. That is the natural order of how humanity is meant to be arranged. So stand up. Take ownership of that. Know your role within society. Don't get pushed into whatever they tell you you're in. In some category, you're an anti-vaxxer, or you're whatever, or you're uneducated, or you don't know about this, or you're not in this class, or you're poor, or whatever it ends up being. No, it's in here. Know your true place in the society and stand up to it. And don't stand up to the crowd. Stand up to the people around you. Have the courage to do that. Start small. Phone someone who's your friend. Talk to them, hey, this is really affecting me. This is whatever. Then try 2 people. Then try 3 people. Then try 10 people. Then try 20 people. And then we can shift to a place that's better. This is the constant theme of my entire life. A huge portion of my closest friends have been thrown into drug abuse, substance abuse, whatever it be. People that I know were just great people, good people, my entire life. Because of this system that just spits people out. If you don't fit in here and you don't do this properly, you don't spit them out, fucking go. Oh, it doesn't matter about them, they're just that. I've been susceptible. I'm guilty of it myself, of like maintaining that narrative. But it doesn't work. If in small enough groups, those couple of people that you lost track of, whatever, it doesn't work like that. I'm one of the first generation of people that has a real group of people around from early years, like end of high school type era, on my Facebook. Everyone kind of older, that was different. And so that's probably what's, enabled me and pushed me to see this. But this is how a actual healthy human system of organisation can work. Right on here. And it doesn't need anyone looking after it. It doesn't need a ballot box. It doesn't need anything like that. These systems of government will just flow straight into it. You know what I mean? People up higher will know the laws and the routes of which these things need to be pushed in. But they will have the incentive and the push from lower down. And not in a overthrowing the government kind of way. Not in a pitchforks and fire and things like that. Because that, in history, was going to be just as bad. But in an organised spider web, like fashion. Where it's just like little changes here, little webs all around, spread around, and it goes up the next level slowly and up the next level slowly until you get to those higher levels of people. And people, these psychopaths that are fucking in charge of us right now, they never would get there. Because they'd never get out of this system. This system where they're addressing their peers, not standing on a soapbox trying to get yes people around them and get a big crowd going. I'm not trying to get a crowd going. I know how to do that. I wouldn't be doing this. So I can see that flip. I know what would be popular. I know how to do this in a way that, like, I have that skill within me. That's, sometimes that's a skill that you need to use. But this is an experiment. This is an experiment. I'm not saying something popular. I'm not saying something that's everyone's going to agree with. I'm not saying something that's aligned with society. I'm out on the edge, on the opposite. And I'm trying to say, hey, there's a lot of us. You should maybe listen to it. If you've taken the time to listen to this 30-minute video, thank you. The best way to describe why I'm doing these is because that is who I am. That's what I'm going to do. The same as a bird sings in a tree, or a shark swims in the water, or any butterfly flaps its wings. It's a natural expression of who I am within this situation we're in, observing this potential communication method that I'm using. And that's it. And yeah, if you oppose me, or if you think that I'm crazy, whatever, I encourage you to do that. Go forth with that. Make some content. Put something out there. Put your name on it. Put your heart into it, and show it not to a crowd, but to the same group or to your own group. Put your thing forward. Don't sit and argue in the comment section of this video. That's not the game we're playing. I'm not here to argue with you. I'm here to put my observations forward, knowing myself, not because anyone's validated me, knowing myself, the same as I know I'm my children's father. That is a knowing. The same as I know I'm a kind person when it comes down to, if someone's, you know what I mean, if an old lady falls over in front of me, I'm going to help her up. It's the same thing, the same mechanism at play here. It's no different. So you can criticise the specifics of what I'm saying if you want, but put it out in a form like this. I'm always open to hear about things like that. So do that. And then I'll listen to it. I'm more than likely wrong about some things. But don't get in the comment section and regurgitate something into me regarding the existing paradigm of popularity and the popular system that we live in. Because the system I'm talking about doesn't exist yet. It has existed in the past in different ways, but it was all word of mouth thing. I'm just bringing your attention to the fact that this little screen here and this network, this social network that we have, has the ability to, like, without anyone looking over it, recreate these diverse models of influence, things like that, away from that populist system. But you can't order society based on making everyone happy, because you're just going to make the people that are happy more happy, and you're going to make the people that aren't happy less happy, and that's how it works. And also, it's like, if that worked with a few people, it's not going to work with a big portion of people. It's going to fall down. You're going to create systems, these influences. It doesn't work. A few rich people got away with it for a while, and most of them it didn't work for. It's not going to work at this scale. Say something controversial. Lead with your heart. Lead with that feeling you have about what's right and wrong. Go from there. All right. Thank you so much for watching.